Today's talk is transforming triggers. 'Tis the season for triggers, everyone. The Christmas holidays and often bring up a great opportunity to balance those stressors, the triggers that cause us a strong emotional response, especially when we're dealing with family members and talking about off topics, politics, COVID, even. Um, you might notice that you have a strong emotional response to the behavior of certain people or certain events that are often related also to past experiences. So a trigger brings up a past experience that lives within our energy body. You could call this the pain body, all of our unfelt, unresolved past emotions. You could also call it the ego. Our ego is hurt. Our ego is offended. Our ego suffers when it's triggered. And we can feel a whole range of emotions when something is triggered within us. Someone says something or does something. We can feel pain, worry, fear, shame, disappointment. And it's about noticing when we feel these intense emotions that are triggered by relatively neutral experiences. So it feels out of proportion. That's how we know we're triggered, because we have an out of proportion, a huge emotional response to something that's happened. And it bothers us deeply. Now we're consumed with negative emotions, with thoughts, with rage, with anger, whatever it may be. You'll start to become aware that when you've been triggered, you'll often go into a really elaborate story about what that whole experience means. And it's important to become aware of our thoughts, and especially the beliefs, the meaning that we derive from having experienced that trigger. The belief or meaning that I'm not good enough, I'm not enough, I'm not lovable, whatever those feelings are, to pay attention to that. Here are some things that can be triggering: being abandoned. These days, it's being ghosted when there's just no response. Being betrayed, when someone has betrayed your trust. And also when you feel that your needs or your expectations have been unmet. These things can be very triggering. And really what it is it activates our trauma, and it's an opportunity for healing. It's an opportunity to release that charge of emotion, to really feel it in the moment, and to transform it so it no longer has power over us. These experiences, we don't have to keep living them over and over again once we can shift them. So there's the reality of what we feel. We feel horrible when we're triggered, versus what we want to feel. We want to feel neutral. We want to feel at ease, that it's no big deal. And these are the two realities that we're working with when we're triggered. So it's not about denying what we feel in the moment, but accepting it deeply that helps us heal. So, first, letting ourselves feel the rage, letting us feel the hurt, feeling the suffering first before having that shift. To transform our triggers, we must be willing to see bigger. We must be willing to take ourselves out of it for a moment. So, how do we do that? So, after punching a pillow or screaming in your car, having a good cry or a rant with a friend, learn how to take yourself out of the experience. So, be willing to see it for what it is and what's really happened.